And in between all the hardships, there were some incredible stories coming from Israel this year, reuniting us all. And joining us now is our Devo Klein. Devo, surprise us. What are your top stories for this past year?
Right, so to start off, it does feel a little bit odd talking about, pre-October 7th. But we did have some great stories, and I want to kick this list off with the incredible, wickedly talented Noa Kirel, the Israeli superstar who represented Israel in the Eurovision Song Contest 2023. She represented us in Liverpool in the UK, and she had an incredible performance, I might add. She did come with third. I think that a lot of Israelis were a little bit upset about that, but respectfully, this is, a global international competition. I think three is very respectable. I know, you're a Eurovision fan yourself.
I always want to speak when it comes to Eurovision. I'm a big Eurovision fan. Our viewers get to know that now, and I think that it made me really happy because this Eurovision really reunited us all around one cause. I'm watching Eurovision since I'm like 8, and now the whole country reunited that day to watch Noa Kirel. It's a very long broadcast, but they still made it and they watched her.
I agree.
What's your second story?
I agree. So actually another cause for unification. In May to June, we had the Mundialito, where our U20 soccer team, our Israeli national soccer team, came home with third place like Kirel. Also in sports, we have our Israeli flag football national team. Our U17 boys who flew to a tournament in Italy came back with the gold. Now, one of the reasons why I love this story is because the team actually refused to play on Shabbos, on the Sabbath. They had scheduled games for them. They decided they weren't going to show up, and they still took the championship, which I think is absolutely incredible.
So before you continue, I really want to ask you, because football is really your thing, that's right, and I want to ask you, how do we make football something big and known here in Israel, like soccer, because this is really like a soccer and also basketball country, I can say. How do we make football as big here?
That's a great question. So there's obviously broadcasts. All the European championships and the international championships are always broadcast. You can always turn on your phone and tune in. And there's more than just viewership. If you want to play, you can also be a player. It's super easy in this country. And just being involved in the sport, I think in general, is a good way to get in. And just another on my list, I have the Red Line in Tel Aviv, the light rail in Tel Aviv opening up. This is a huge step forward for public transportation in Tel Aviv. It really connects the larger Tel Aviv metropolitan area.
Definitely
so
does.
A very big one.
And we'll add, because we have to end now, we'll add one more thing that I think was like the really big sign of the war,
right.
Something that really was the big thing of the war. We were all united. And I think that's the major thing. Want to say anything about it?
Of course, I think it's difficult that we had to get to such a low point in order to realize that, but ever since then, it's been upwards, and I think that the unity is so heartwarming, and people just flowing south to help agricultural plants, and it's just incredible.
And working together and seeing all these things. Devo, thank you so much for joining us today. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too, Amit.